Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. This is how Sri Rudram starts. This mantra is called Stopam. It's actually not in the original Samhita. However, traditionally this is being chanted. It means salutation to Lord Rudra. The word Bhagavate is worth pondering a little bit onto that. Bhagavan is what is Bhagavate? If somebody is having a dhanam, he is called a dhanavan. If a person is having a lot of strength, he is called a bhalavan. Similarly, a person who has bhaga is called bhagavan. So now what is bhaga? Bhaga is basically a different virtues, a set of 6 virtues a person possesses, and that person is called Bhagavan. Aishwaryasya, Samagreyasya, Viryasya, Yasyasya, Shirya, Jnana Vairagya Yochaiva, Shagnam Bhaga Itirana. These 6 virtues, the lordship, the power, the firm, the wealth, the knowledge, and a freedom from wanting. There is no ragam. These are the absolute measures. If a person is having it, and that's what is called as Bhaga. And Lord has all these things. He is the ruler of the entire world. And He has all powers. And He is the only famous person. And anything you can think of is owned by Him. The wealth is a Jnana Swarupam. And He doesn't need, although He has everything, He doesn't need anything. He is a Akarta and a Bhokta. Because of these reasons, Bhagavan name fits for Ishvara, for that Brahman. So we start our salutation of the Sri Rudra with Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. It's like Om Namo Narayanaya. So Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. With this, it starts into the Sri Rudram. But before we start into Sri Rudram, there is one thing that we need to understand about the Karya-Karana relationship between Ishvara and Jivas. Ishvara is the cause for this universe, including Jivas. So we are the Karyams, the Jagat is the Karyam, and Ishvara is the Karanam. Karanam always pervades the entire Karyam. The clay pervades the entire pot. The clay was there before the pot was made. When the pot is existing, clay is also there. And when the pot is broken, it is still the clay exists. Clay doesn't have any change. Clay is permanent, changeless, formless. So clay transcends the size of the pot. The pot is small size, big size. A pot that is used to keep a poison versus the pot that is used to keep the amritam. But the clay transcends the size, it transcends the content on that pot clay is beyond all those things. Similarly, the Lord is existing everywhere in every human, every Jivan, but the gunas, the good and bad, that is done by the jivas, or nothing to do with that Brahman, with that Ishvara. The light, under the sunlight, a crime happens. Under the sunlight, a divine thing happens. The sunlight is a cause for both the events. That's the base. But sunlight has no role in the evil or on the good. So this point we need to keep it in mind throughout the Rudram when we are going in. Let's get on to Sloka 1. Namaste Rudramanyavabhutota Ishave Namaha Namaste Astu Danvane Bhagupya Mutate Namaha. In Sri Rudram has 11 anuvagas. The first anuvaga is having several mantras. Since it's in a sloka roop, it's a Rik mantra. If I am right, we have 16 mantras or 17 mantras here in the first anuvaga. So, here the devotee is praying to Lord Rudra. Before we get on to that, we need to put ourselves as the devotee. So, I am the devotee who is chanting this. This devotee is currently not in fully aware about everything, about the Lord. Although he is not aware about the Lord, he knows that he is the karma phaladada. One who keeps the accounts of the karma phala of every jiva and gives it back is the Ishvara. This knowledge is there for that devotee. But this devotee doesn't know the full picture of that Ishvara yet. And this devotee has a kind of a sadhvik mind to some extent. That's why he was able to chant that Lagunyasam. That's why he was able to do the Dhyana slokams, and he has quietened his mind. Because he has quietened his mind, and since he is aware that Bhagavan is the karma paladata, he started realizing the Nishiddha karmas which he performed, the pabhas which he performed. Also, he knows the karmas which he is supposed to perform but which he has not performed. The nitya karma which is supposed to be performed but has not been performed. Or the karmas that is supposed to be performed in a particular way but was not performed by this devotee in that way. So he realizes all those things. The moment the devotee knows about these things, he realizes that, I will be punished for that. Or I am being punished for that. I am currently being punished for that. He got that realization. That I am being punished for those actions. However, since he is having too much attachment to his body, mind, intellect complex, he thinks that is because the Lord has become angry and that's why Lord is giving these troubles to him. In one mind, he knows that it is a karma palapadhada. In another mind, he thinks Lord is angry on him because of his ill-fated actions, the sinful actions. So now he is praying to the Lord, Lord, my surrender to you, my prayers to you, my salutations to you, and to your anger, and you are having the bow and arrow in your hand to hurt me, to hurt the Pabis. Because I have made the mistake, you may hurt me, and my surrender to you, my surrender to those bow and arrows as well. And the hand that is holding those bows and arrows, my surrender to that bows, to your hands which is holding it as well. So the devotee is now doing a salutations to Lord, to the anger of the Lord, to the weapon he is holding, the bow and arrow, and to the hand that is holding it. So 4 levels of surrender the Lord, the devotee has done to the Lord right now. The Bhagavan's ayudas are actually worshipable. And this was illustrated to us in a story form in Mahabharata. Aswathama, he sent that Narayana Astra towards Pandavas, which will, once it comes, it will destroy everybody, whoever doesn't surrender. All the Pandavas was asked by Lord Krishna, said, surrender now, Narayana Astra is coming. I cannot save you. Unless you surrender, that Astra will just finish you. So better you surrender. So all Pandavas paid surrender, and without opposing it, once they do the surrender, the Astra did not harm. So what does this mean is, surrender is a virtue that we need to first exhibit to Lord. By exhibiting that, we will get upon to the next level. We recognize as a devotee that there is a Lord. Lord is a karma paladada, and he may be angry because of our ill deeds. Bhagavan is not getting angry on anybody. Bhagavan is only a karma paladada. He just gives the results of your action, our action. If you have done good, we are going to reap the good. If you have done bad, we are going to get the bad. But we, due to our ignorance, see the Lord as angry and giving it here. So the first anuvaga, full anuvaga, is of an ignorant devotee, not a jnani. So a normal devotee like us, who is not fully understood, is thinking about the Lord that way. So basically, we are telling, hey Lord, don't do any bhadakas to me. Don't do any troubles to me. But the same weapons and same you and your hands, your weapons, everything should be a raksha for me. And that's what is the theme of the whole Anuvaga, and that starts in this first mantra. And every mantra or every sloka in Sri Rudram is having its own Rishi, Chandas and Devta. And it also has a Dhyana sloka. So for the first mantra, the Rishi is Atreya, and Chantas is Anushtup Chantaka, and Devata is Sakshat Sri Rudra. And the Dhyana mantra for this is Akarna Krishte Dhanushijvalantim Devi Misham Paswati Santadanam Dhyayen Magesham Maganiya Vesham Devya Yutam Yodadanum Yuvanam. Here we are visualizing Sri Rudra is having the arrow and the bow like a warrior who is in a youthful form with the Devi, and such a Makeshwara should be visualized in our mind and chant this first mantra several times. The Shastra says by chanting this mantra alone, the first mantra alone, thousands of times, or do some pradakshina namaskara and things like that, we get the Parameshwara's blessing, and our papam will be vanished, the papakshayam will happen, and we gain the leadership qualities. And these are all coming out of a book called Rudra Kalparnavam. Rudra Kalparnavam. And this has been elaborately discussed by Abhinava Saraswati on his Rudra Bhashyam onto this. In the next episode, let's see Sloga 2. Om Namah Shivaya.